Okay, we are live this time. For sure this time, and I'm not going to introduce myself a third time and be wrong. So, hello. Um, I am here with Jonas. Say hello, Jonas.
Hi, Jonas.
Thanks, Jonas. We're going to take like, I don't know, like 10 minutes to do this. I don't know if it's going to be a train wreck or not, but it'll be fun. Basically, with the idea for Division 3 power rankings is every week we'll come here and quickly go over them and say who did bad, who did good, as if people don't already have eyes. Um, a fair warning before we start: it's volatile because it's been one game. So some people have dropped like 5 places, some have gained 5 places, simply because the sample size is tiny. So uh, basically, we'll go through each role. The teams, I haven't bothered updating the team power rankings. If you want to look at the team power rankings, look at the leaderboard. That's pretty accurate. So it's just players, and feel free to argue with me, Jonas, and
Mhm.
the I don't know 4 people watching or whatever. Um, and yeah, we'll go from there. So if we are we all right just to jump straight into the new sheet? High production value, air horns,
Insane
sounds,
production value.
insane production value. I couldn't be. I'm gonna be straight up. I can't be asked to recreate the same graphic every week. So we got a spreadsheet. Woo!
Yay!
Yeah, spreadsheets. So if we, I don't know. Do we just go top to the S word?
Sounds good to me.
Right. Top. Something you'll see immediately. Dipsy up to third. There's been no change to the top two. Dipsy up to third. VRO got one hell of a buff with their win
Hmm.
because they were most of them were rated near the bottom, so massive jumps for pretty much all of them. But is there anything in there, Jonas, that
Mm.
actually surprises you, or is it all pretty obvious?
I would say Nawar in sixth is a bit surprising. I will say I was expecting higher still,
Ah, great news. Resorted, he's actually fifth.
but
High
fantastic.
production value.
Was it a mistake or?
I just forgot to resort it, I think, because of the high
Yes.
production value, obviously. So no, or I mean, this is probably a product of CTL's loss, um, and so I think over time it'll be easier to tell actually how good someone is versus how good the team
Yeah.
is. But yeah, I think Narwhal has plenty of time to still go over Parademon. I mean, from memory, they have very similar champion pools. I think Narwhal probably does do it better, but in terms of week one performance, I think it's a bit dishonest to not give Volpine at least a little credit.
Hmm.
Um, I think top lane is probably where there's going to be the most shifting. I think from week two because obviously, um, I don't know how to say the name. Tom Fisher and Brad had good weeks. They were the top two anyway. Nothing's changed. I reckon. I want to see. I want to see Hodgson and Narn will go back up, and I think they will and can. And I think a bad week from Flare and Equinox is gonna be, they'll turn it around. They're doing roster swaps, Frostbite especially, because I don't think Hodgson was an issue last week. So I think he's just kind of been unfairly shafted a little bit. But otherwise, um, SC had a pretty weak week. Pretty weak week. Space Cowboys. So Jack Attacker, what I will say that man on Gwen is a fucking menace. Anything else, I can kind of respect the where he is now. But on Gwen, Jack Attacker jumps like 10 places, unironically. But yeah,
I will
there's the
say,
top
like
lane.
Jack Attack. When it comes to Jack Attack, like being in that series myself, uh, that orange didn't really feel like he was in the game. Game one and the game two. where they give Rumble into Gragas. I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't expect. I expected the matchup to be better, but from everyone that I've asked since then, it tells me that Gragas is actually a massive Rumble counter. So I don't, honestly, I don't know where they went with that. Maybe they thought it was Cho'Gath top. That is a pretty fair assumption to make, but I don't know. It just felt to me like Jack Attack was more of a liability. Like no disrespect to him. It felt more like he was a cause of their loss last week than anything else.
Mm. I think before I became the unholy benched, we scrimmed Space Cowboys a couple times. I did play once against him in lane, I think for a tryout, and 3 games he dumpstered me on Gwen, and then on everything else, I agree, he kind of felt a little bit like he wasn't really there. And to be fair, he also did have the unfortunate part of playing against probably the best top laner in the division. But even then, going 0-7 with 1 kill participation to your name is a bit rough. So, right. Otherwise,
Yeah.
big ups James LeBron's. He's gone up by 1 because a sub was automatically put to the bottom.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah, James LeBron's. Right. Now, jungle. There have actually been some changes. And some decent ones. So, Stop Mad Be Happy, SMBH, Marco, however you want to call him, has been
Solo.
promoted. You have been promoted. One of my elite employees. Um, so a good week for him. Generally, if you watch, it's kind of the benefit of having seen the games. He played very well, but generally, I think the only jungler who probably matched him like for like that week was probably G Wizard.
I mean, I will say, like, let's be honest here, the VRO beating Frostbite Equinox was something any of us expected. It was probably like, if you're being honest here, one of two upsets, but this one, at least to me, by far the most shocking one. Um, because it just nothing about VRO screams to me as a like an obvious win condition. And G Wizard, I think, played like a pretty good series. I think he was going toe to toe with Cookie pretty fairly well. And he did enable his team to win. So him going up to third is not unexpected. Cookie going down to fourth, always a bit disappointing, but to be fair, after that team's performance, I can't really expect anything else. He was still their best player on the series, but yeah, it's a
Mm.
bit of an unfortunate one.
I mean, yeah, I managed to catch, I think, game 3 of that Frostbite Equinox game. And to be fair, when you watch, Cookie did feel like the only person who was trying to make something happen routinely. Um, but it just felt like his team weren't quite on that sort of aggressive level. And this is a thing you kind of expect with Cookie, isn't it? He's a very aggressive dude. He's ride or die. Like, you either get a Cookie that's going like 12-0 and he will have you on his back, or sometimes he's trying to make things happen when he needs to chill out a little bit. I reckon he'll probably go back up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as mentioned before, Frostbite Equinox have a whole new bot lane in. Um, they have replaced Beth and Skarner, which we'll get to in a second. So I'd like to see Hodgson, Cookie, and Stereo all climb back up because I think individually they're a very good top side. Um, but yeah, so otherwise for jungle, I think everything is kind of standard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you did drop 9 places, Jonas. That's kind of
Yeah.
disappointing.
No, that's fair. That's like the most fair ranking you have, honestly.
Exactly. I mean, it only gets worse for me later on, don't worry. Um, but yeah, so just to confirm, everyone who was a substitute and therefore hasn't played a single game yet drops automatically to the bottom. If they
Mhm.
start getting game time, then they'll start being ranked appropriately. But right now, no chance to really do so. So they've just been jumped to the bottom. Um, Otherwise, I think we agree. The people I want to see more from is Cookie. I want to see how long SMBH can be at the top. Um, Especially as we get deeper into the split, see how VRS do generally, because they're,
Mhm.
surprise, surprise, also having a fucking roster swap, because who isn't? Um,
Yep.
every team is changing, I swear. But otherwise, jungle, pretty much expected. So mid lane, ATL. Probably a lot of people seeing ATL, who no one really knows, playing into Ignitar, who is one of, if not the biggest name in the division, probably wouldn't have seen this happening.
Yeah, probably not. The real reason ATL is kind of goated, at least because I was in the series with him, is that his job is was just literally just not die too many times to Ignitar. And to be fair, not only did he do that, he also uh, had like a pretty solid laning phase. They got first blood in game two against Ignitar, both ATL and Threat. They managed to get a good gank off and got Cho'Gath a kill at level 3, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But
Mm.
I think ATL plays a really, really stable game. He's really solid. But yeah, I think it's a he has like good potential. I think he played well. Second place, I don't know, might be a bit up. I don't know. I need to see him against many of the other the three mids, but I think after that series, I can see it honestly.
Yeah, I think the weight is up by the fact of who he played against. Um, so I think obviously there was a lot of I want to say that Ignitar being one of the name he is probably also has the most expectation on him. So I think judging by that, ATL coming in as a rookie hasn't played VL before, as far as I'm aware. You know,
Mm,
solid for him. Third place and the actually joint highest ranking 404 member, Swordmaster Riven, who
yep,
is, I think, probably one of the most divisive players in the entire list.
probably.
I think everyone seems to understand him in the same way, which is similar to Cookie, but even more volatile. He seems to be just like a laning demon, but he is also very demanding of resource. I don't know how sustainable it is, because 404, guess what? Also have another roster change happening. Because again, who isn't? I think jungle is very important for Swordmaster Riven's longevity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Also, like big ups Volpes for getting a place after pretty good performance against Celestial. I think he played a really solid series.
Mm,
Still some doubts here and there, but let's be honest here. I think he was a big part of why they won. So big ups to him.
mm. Yeah, what I would like to see is see this week is going to be really important to understand if VRO just had a good week or if they are
Mm,
actually good.
yes.
Because they probably have the most unknown people out of all of the teams, if I had to say, except for DRV, but DRV are complete unknowns. Um, so it'll be interesting to see, are they actually good, or did they just have a good week, weak opposition or whatever? So I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens with fourth and fifth, and third actually. Third, fourth, and fifth is mid lane where I really want to see some change. Otherwise, I think people like Shadowhopper and Valentine probably want to climb. I think again, long time names. I think they can. I think Ignutar genuinely is actually in a bit of danger because I don't have his stats in front of me, but I remember I think he had a very struggle, a big struggle in like I think game two against you guys,
Mm.
where he like 1-5 something like that. So I think he really has to fight to keep seventh. Weirdly enough, because I think Shadow again. We'll see what happens in week two. But ADCs. Is there any? I think this is probably the most obvious, arguably.
Levity's first. Shocker!
Yeah.
Shocker!
Something I forgot to mention, and I have been flamed for. Levity did also get a pentakill last week, um, and he had over 10 CS in both games. Um, I mean, it was. I'd argue it's probably one of Levity's best series on paper. So I don't think there's really anything that can topple that. I did give full MVP though to Chunga Dasunga because I think in 3 games he had like 45 kills,
Mhm.
was it?
No,
something
He
ridiculous like that.
really popped off. He really popped off, especially game
Yeah.
three. I remember multiple times in game three where they sent multiple members, Frostbite sent multiple members to kill him, and it just couldn't because he was so far ahead on his Aphelios.
Mm, exactly. I think I have seen some things suggesting he has a bit of a limited champion pool, but I think
At-
it'll be really good. Again, VRO is probably the one I'm most excited to see this week to see are they justified in going this much higher, or you know, are they a mid-table, or are they I think it's this week is the VR derby, isn't it?
yes,
VRO
it is.
versus VRS. That
So
ADC matchup will be fucking great.
I can say this as someone who is on staff. That's a bit of a mistake because we have an internal rule which is if there's two teams with the same org, they should always play week one. We kind of forgot to do that, but because it's week two, it's fine. If it was scheduled for like a later week, we would have had to like change the schedule to fit it. But because it was only week two, it's fine.
Mm, yeah.
Um, it was more like the case of we when we realized it was like 2 days before the first series, and we didn't want to change it on everyone because we'd have to change the schedule because because it's only week two, it's fine. The reason we do this is because later on in regular season, you can't then teams can't then like strategically lose against each other, so they both make playoffs, for example.
Okay. Well, there
That's
you
the
go.
idea anyway.
There's the staff answer. Um, I also realize it's quarter two, so I'm gonna stop
Let's
yapping
start
quite as
speeding up,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, Luna had a great series in UE last night, I believe. UE winner had a great game 4 and 5.
Also,
So
the pretty good series against Volpine, to be fair.
exactly. So I think Luna, again, depending on what happens in the VR derby tonight, I think Luna can go up a spot here. Next, otherwise, nothing too interesting in that. Skana is gone, so as mentioned, she's been benched. I believe she is now moving to sub on CTLF.
Yes, that's
So,
right.
yep, new FRBE ADC, I believe is Senjo, or I'm not going to try and say this weird name.
He was their sub already, but now
The main,
he
yeah,
is the main, yeah, main ADC, yes.
exactly. And then I believe support they have brought in Frank, formerly from VRC last split. So it'd be
Correct.
interesting to see what FRBE do tonight with these changes. Again, think their top side's great. And then support, I've dropped 13 places because I'm a piss low dog. Um, but I think support is probably the closest. I think Final Tilt, Leroy both had really good performances. I think how long they're going to hold on to top spot, I don't know. But you know, long may it last. I think VLP having someone at the top is going to be very nice for them. I think having caught the game again, Leroy played very well for VRO. He made a lot of things happen. I think his Nautilus was great. He was all over the map. Um, and the sexiest number 4, brand new Jonas. Um,
Yes.
long gone are the days of you playing characters with urgency. You're now a press E on ADC
Oh
role.
yes. I'm trying to make sure I can win a series on every role of the game at this point. Uh,
Exactly. You've
I
done
have
it with
three out of
Smite with
five done,
jungle.
so
You've technically done as a top laner when you played without Smite as jungle.
well. But to be fair, I was playing with support items, so does that count?
Does this count as you? So you've already won in support, so this isn't even new. This is
Yeah,
poser shit.
yeah.
Otherwise, Heroine jumped up 6 spots, but that's probably going to drop again because she is busy for like another 5 weeks. So Daddy Saurus, also known as Kyle, is the new support for VRS. Again, I think Cliff and Luna are a very good bot lane together. They've played a lot together. They should go up. Who do they play tonight? Do we know? Top of my head, let me have a check.
Can't remember honestly.
But anyway, it'll be. I think, regardless of who they play, they should be aiming, especially those two, to jump a couple spots. Um, they are playing. Uh, are they even playing? They're playing 404. So I think bot lane matchup. Flare versus 404. 404 are going to play through mid. Flare need to play through bot lane.
Yep.
I think this is the perfect series for Luna and Cliff to go up a couple ranks if they
Yeah,
if
and
they
they need to.
want to.
I think they need to get some confidence back. I think it's a perfect series to do that because 404 is realistically going to be a semi highly rated team. Like, let's be honest, worst case scenario, they're going to be mid table. So I think CTL getting a win here is a big like motivation booster. So yeah, I want it. I want to see it from
Cool.
them.
Damn straight. This is when they should. L9 Amphetamine, I believe Sander is back in tonight in place of you, so hopefully see him go up a few spots for Mad. Otherwise, not a whole lot to say on support. Um, more will be found out tonight, I'm sure. But I think that is it. Again, not doing a team one. If you want to see how good the teams are, look at the rankings.
Yep.
It's live. So yeah, I think a lot of people, especially I think the main teams who have to perform this week are Flare and I think 404. That matchup's gonna be really good because they're
Yes.
both very close in pretty much all these roles. And VRO VRS is going to be a banger as well. Those are my most favored matches because I think a lot of Flare members here will consider themselves too low.
Definitely.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll leave it there because we've got 10 minutes till game time, but we'll be back doing this stupidity again next week. So if anyone wants to join me on that one, um, hit me up, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to hold Jonas hostage again.
All
Thank you.
right, and with that, we'll move out from uh, our PL power rankings and go into a quick break until the game start at 8. See you in 10 minutes. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Gucci Reapers versus MadMen Origins. I am Mistos. I am joined by the one and only Atrial. Say hello.
Hello! Hello, everyone. I hope you're looking forward to today's matchup. It's going to be quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is that definitely is. I'm quickly updating the stream title. And after
Well,
that, we'll get right into the draft as soon as the lobby is ready.
we'll see how it goes. What are you looking forward to in this matchup? Is there some particular person you're looking forward to see on the Rift?
There are a few. I'm really curious about Tunfis for MadMen Origins. He is the as most of you will know. MadMen Origins have a completely new Div 3 team, so I'm quite curious, and he has been promising so far. I mean, if we also quickly recap back to the power rankings, he's fairly up there. Number 1 mainly. Basically, all the MadMen players are fairly high. They're all first or second in the role, besides the support, who is a bit lower, but also haven't played yet. So it might take a bit. Generally, I think we'll see a fun matchup. I mean, the Gucci guys a bit lower rated in the power rankings, but we've seen from week 1 that it doesn't mean a damn thing. So
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with this, I'm going into the match with some expectations that these players know, in some matter, may or may not fulfill, and that's going to also make this matchup quite interesting. As I'm waiting for what's going to go through this entire series, if there's going to be priority on some picks or some strategies, or if there's going to be some adaptation, because it's a best of 3. It's not just
it's
a
fearless
single.
as well. So it will be fun to see.
I'm looking forward to the interesting mashups that are going to happen, whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, playing fearless, it might sound that it's easy, but at the same time, when it comes down to the third game or in best of 5 series to the 5th game, it's like, yeah, it's quite a lot of champions gone from the game.
Yeah. As we are getting our ready check currently, so we'll have we'll have to wait a few seconds and we'll get right into our draft.
Her one and only wonderful drafts.
Yeah. Well, most people know me by now, Missiles, mainly producer, sometimes caster. But people really don't know you yet. Can you quickly give yourself an introduction? Who are
yes.
you? What is your casting experience? And why is MadMen the best team in VL?
Of course. My name is Ashriel, and I'm currently new here. I am from Czechoslovakia, and I'm currently casting for the past year and a half, though in my native language, so I might be a bit rusty in English. We'll see how this goes. And in regards to my league experience, I am mostly an AD carry main with some occasional play in other roles, such as mid lane or occasional supports. I really enjoy some spicy picks that might not be defined as like meta picks, but can shake up the meta. Basically, I really like some off meta picks that are just so wild that it throws the entire game out of the window, and I think that's how I would describe myself. In regards to Valanth League, I'm also pretty new here, so I'll be discovering a lot of these guys purely based off these upcoming days. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. As we are currently having a slight issue where the YouTube link was private, it should be now accessible for everyone as well.
Well,
Yes,
let's
so
see.
as some of you might know, we are currently streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. YouTube was a requested thing from a few people from our community. Well, mainly one of our owners, so I kind of have to. But the dual streaming is going good. Yeah, internet is
Internet is a wonderful thing.
yes, the internet is a wonderful thing. A few rule changes this year in VL, the split, but nothing too major. We are still using the external drafting tool, for which we are waiting. As we are having a slight delay, it seems like.
All right.
As we got a different draft link, which wasn't shared. Amazing. We are currently going to head into draft, and we're already underway.
Ooh, we're already on
And
our
the
way.
missing pick is Akshan for side of Gucci.
Oh, I see. Okay, so we're already past the first pick phase and going into the second phase of bands. And so far, it's somewhat what I expected in terms of the AD carries. So far, mostly hyper carries, especially Sivir, one of the more consistent marksmen that can easily shove waves and be pretty consistent in most fights. You just hit a person and the ricochet does pretty decent damage. Let's say that.
Yeah. I mean, Zack now banned for the side of Gucci. And will get a ban for the side of MadMen in a bit. This Morgana could possibly go support, could possibly go mid. Been a more flexible pick lately. So I'm curious to see where that will go.
Yeah, that one can shape up this matchup. Technically can go into jungle as well, though it's not been super often that we see that one. Nowadays especially.
I'm not
But
completely certain what supports the both supports play, but it looks like there's some enchanters in there definitely. Cho'Gath being picked up, pretty decent tank. Probably Wukong jungle then, actual mid. This is almost a draft from MadMen Phantoms from last split with no sheep in mid lane with on that action. It worked for them mostly, so maybe Gucci is trying to replicate that success.
yeah, so far a pretty well-rounded draft from the side of Gucci, with some solid front line, good scaling all around with Jinx, and overall got ultimate usage. You have the Cyclone, you have the Feast from Cho'Gath that can also do some pretty decent, let's call it that, priority damage to single targets. So perhaps if you find a Sivir without his spare shield, you can take care of that issue if she comes by.
Yeah,
And
Tom Kench. Now Swain being picked up. Okay, so this Morgana is almost definitely going mid lane with the Tom Kench support. The Swain is probably also a support, a pretty decent pick into the Tom Kench, if you ask me. But his pullback, his E, is blockable by the spell shield from the Sivir, so some options there.
Still gives a Raven though, so you can still stack a bit of HP on the side of Swain. Also, With this, you have some extra damage from the side of the support, though usually not extremely relevant for the purposes of team fights. They can also be like that extra bit of pressure from this single player that the MadMen need to think of and react to. Now when I look at these rosters, interesting how they're going to play throughout the entire game, especially early game is going to be quite interesting. What do you personally think about the early game and first few objectives? Do you think that one of these teams are going to prioritize dragons or grubs?
I think the early roaming is like the mid jungle early roaming is quite good for both teams. Action Wukong fairly strong together. Action having a lot of roaming potential with the stealth. Morgana high cooldowns early on. Also, I think the Trundle is slightly weaker early on, but the Morgana with the Q, if it hits, it has some high impact.
Yeah.
As we are currently heading into the lobby draft, which now this season, as it bugs out once more, the lobby. Yeah, there's been some recent issues. There's been some recent issues with the lobbies where it doesn't let everything go through as we are getting into drafts. As I see there's a mistake.
All right.
People will yell at me if I don't fix this. So we are fixing it.
No worries. It's going to fix itself eventually.
It
One
will,
day.
it will, it will. One day.
Yes.
One day it will fix itself.
Yeah, that day is going to be beautiful and peaceful. But it's not today, sadly, so.
It is sadly not today, as the lobby draft is the blind pick draft is quite a bit faster nowadays. Or it should at least be. As our tournament icon is slightly the wrong one. I do apologize. It once again should fix itself at some point. But what can you do? We will be waiting for the spectator delay, 3 minutes, of course, as is mandatory within VL.
Right.
And after that, we'll get you into the games. As was said earlier, best of 3 today. Still fearless. Who do you think is going to win?
This is kind of a hard question for me, especially because I don't have that much history with these players. I don't know exactly how they're going to play. So I'm going to actually answer this throughout this game. But if I had to roughly guess, just off of this single draft, I personally like Gucci's draft slightly more. I don't know if it's just because it's just team fight oriented, and I know that the tendencies in lower elos or like amateur leagues are leaning more towards just chaotic team fighting. But on the other hand, MadMen have quite a decent number of answers towards this. The Trundle can do quite a number on the split push, regardless of the role which he's playing. And then you have Sivir, you have Gnar, you have quite a lot of CC. So I can see both of these teams come up with some relevance. And it also comes up to personal execution, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be League without some god plays and some misplays, maybe some flashes in the walls. My favorites. Definitely never did that one. Nope.
Definitely not.
I don't know. I'm a perfect human being. I would never do such a thing.
Of course not. Of course not.
But I personally am also interested in how the marksmen are going to play this game, because both of them are hyper carries in their own right, and in the mid game and late game, especially with 2 or 3 items and more, they're going to be vital pieces in this series. As just a couple seconds, a couple precisely aimed auto attacks can decide the entire fight. Especially if Jinx gets a Hurricane, or Sivir just gets a Ricochet between 2 targets. The damage is going to add up really quickly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we'll be heading into game now, really soon. So that's good. And then we'll just see how it plays out. Just remind me, are you play-by-play or color?
I am personally more color, but I can do probably both.
No,
Depends.
that's fine.
Will be interesting.
As we are
Ooh.
in game.
Ooh, nice. My favorite Summoner's Rift. And as we head into the Summoner's Rift itself, are you expecting some kind of invades or aggressiveness at the beginning?
Not really. There might be some shenanigans, but don't really expect too much of it. Currently the rune stab is sadly broken for us, and we will fix the order for the champions.
Yeah, it happens. Though we are currently seeing more of a passive stance. As you said, there is no real aggression, so I'm also looking for any wards that may be placed. Because that information would be vital, and if the players know how to play around that, that can also really help you to A, avoid a possible gank in the future, or B, invade the enemy jungler with your teammates and take away either their camps or even maybe take a kill on the red buff. Or
It might be
any
possible.
camp
It
for
might
that
be
matter.
possible.
And also there is a ward that's being placed on the Raptors by Action, seems.
At least they'll know in a bit that he isn't starting bot.
Yep. That information is going to add both of these side lanes, as they can now prepare themselves with a game plan of whatever or not they want to push the waves or not. Bot lane so far is slightly in favor of Sivir with Damkenshin in terms of push, because, well, Sivir's Ricochet is just... It's not easy to contest, let's put it that way. Ooh, Flesh on top, though. Cho'Gath is not having a good time currently.
Definitely not.
James LeBron's.
Now, the orders are now correct as well. So we'll be heading into a proper cast right now.
Alright. Skill shots are landing. A couple of Ravens adding to the Swain's health bar, but nothing super significant that would dictate the lane priority completely.
We can take a quick look at how much experience everyone has. The junglers is currently at top. But overall, fairly even. The bot lane from MadMen will probably hit level 3 first. So they might look to do something there, but overall, nothing too crazy.
Bit of a slower early game. There isn't a aggressive bot lane such as Nabiloshin that would really try to go for the early first blood. But we
As
also
we-
see both junglers in bot side.
Yeah, they might meet,
Sorry.
meet each other soon. Is currently having a bit of a struggle against the Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath blowing flash earlier, so in a minute or two it might be a good gank opportunity, as we do see both junglers posturing around this mid lane. There's resets coming in now, some items, but a call from the Sivir and from the Jinx. TP mid lane for the side of Gucci.
First, early game power spikes in terms of the components. We'll see how those move the matchups, if they're going to be relevant
As we
or...
see the Trundle Pillar being used top lane, silence dissuades any further action. Wukong also hovering top, so even if they did try to dive, I don't think James LeBrons would have died. The recall barely not being cancelled though.
Though, we can talk about the Cho'Gath damage being slightly more relevant, because he just got to the lane and used his teleport, so he can't gain it super easily. Of course, he has his passive, so he will eventually gain it back if you just leave him alone and don't try to push him further, but as of now, you've got a select
Yep.
advantage in the lane you can leverage.
We'll quickly take a look at the experience steps. See who is closest to level 6. It is currently the Cho'Gath, with the Nor actually being quite a bit behind. Another gank coming in though.
Oh, this is not good. This looks...
Blonde is level 6 but doesn't get anything, and that's first blood over to MadMen.
Yeah, you're not getting out of this one, sadly. Cho'Gath has no flash, and the Trundle got into the back. First blood for Trundle with this. Small lead for this, let's say, early game metas jungler that can pretty drastically swing early and make game fights, and also pretty easily take objectives.
Wukong now doing early Hextech Drake. It's nice to have, giving some attack speed and some ability haste, but nothing too impactful. I don't think MadMen are too sad about losing this one. They'd much rather have some gold on the jungler.
Especially you get a Drake, that's also a... oh,
Actually,
I got mixed up.
I quickly want to point your attention to the ADC CS difference.
Ooh.
15 CS, that's almost 3 full waves of difference. And
Yeah,
that
that's
will have
pretty much
that will have some impact with their next recalls. As we see the threat now finding Dingus. Swain is moving. Action ult being used. Fred has the flash.
Muppets finds the target. A lot of damage. Ignite used.
In the end of that, only if 2 flashes being used by the side of MadMen. Ignite dropped by the Swain. Nothing too crazy, but that might give a nice gank opportunity later down the line in bot lane.
Yeah, totally. If you especially know how to play around the cooldowns and know who to prioritize, especially Pumpkin currently who doesn't have the flash, if you can cancel his W, he's completely immobile. So now, just about looking for the right opportunity and knowing how to use it.
Yeah.
Next objective is Grub spawning in 30 seconds in the top side, though. Aren't we going to see some roams from the supports? Seems
I mean, I
that's
would
the
imagine
case.
so
Yes.
on the roam timers here. As we do see both supports in the top side. Swain being more mid lane. As we might see a dive. The Tamkench being spotted by the Tongue Lash though. Meets the Swain and the Wukong in the jungle.
Narva's
Engage now
ultimate,
being
so
used. Gnar.
Mega Gnar is running up. Is going in. He's ignited. It's just not good.
Crucially, actually not using his ult does get revived by the Akshan. Akshan has to flash away. As
Not
overall, that's a kill. A kill for kill, but the Wukong does respawn due to the Akshan.
Yeah, the question is, are you going to get anything off of it now? It seems that you're surrounded in the pit. And while the grubs are going to die, you're in a pretty not nice predicament as you pick up another player.
Ding is now using all his Wukong ults and does pick up a couple of kills now. And he stole, crucially, a grub. So overall, I think not the way MadMen hoped it would go. Just the revive from the Akshan, making sure the Wukong is there in time to return to the fight.
Yeah, you know, especially got the feats of warfare as well. You got the first 3 kills, which is going to give you a slight edge in this round race for the upgraded boots. We'll see how teams move forward with these objectives.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing for Gucci Reapers is that they can either decide to contest objectives or go for that first tower. While MadMen need to get both in order to get defeats.
Yeah.
As we see, Dr. Valentine now using the stealth very nicely. Doesn't get too much out of his E there. But you can see the power of that stealth. Just ATL not knowing where this Akshan is.
Yeah. It's quite hard to push this wave, especially when Akshan got his first item, Static Shift. Getting lane power right now is almost, I don't want to say impossible, but it's not easy as a Morgana.
I do want to say that the bot lane CS difference has grown to 20 CS. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it is 15 CS for the side of Tunfis. So overall, MadMen not too unhappy with the game state. Also, although Fred does get caught out here, the action is being used. Sander now caught in the middle of the entire enemy team. Fred now escaping, ATL posturing.
Yeah, this
I don't know what the Tom Kench there was thinking, but jumping into 4 people isn't normally the thing you would like to do. As ATL now gets caught, does hit the binding, the dark binding, but nothing too much coming out of it.
Yeah, this is just not super great from this side of MadMen. Currently, you're slightly giving away kills, and with that, Gucci can just go for this dragon, take their second objective of this game. Towards the feet of monster slaying, if I'm not mistaken.
That is not yet the feat.
Not the feats, but just the second stack.
Yeah, it is the second stack. A plate now going over to the Gnar as well. So building a 700 gold lead so far in this top lane. Actually quite nice. And that does redeem some of the plays from MadMen from earlier on.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the gold in total, they're still ahead in terms of 400 gold in their pocket, which isn't like super big, but considering how they've been handing out some kills, let's say not in the most greatest of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good for the side of MadMen, especially when you know that you have Sivert, who has quite a big CS lead in this game. She has also an item advantage currently. She has the Yuntal, which can be a massive difference.
Yeah, the Swain now has 240 bonus health, 16 stacks already from this passive. So about a ruby crystal and a half. That's not bad. Gnar build being used, getting caught up in the tower by the Wukong ult. And the Wukong will just kill him with the ult. Very greedy
Yeah.
from the Gnar here.
Yeah, greedy, you didn't get the kill, but you at least attempted to play, and that's what we value in this spot. Because you never know unless you try, as we like to say. You know, have to be careful though, because giving a bigger lead towards your opponent may, let's say, not be the brightest moves, especially for the mid game, where they could start snowballing super hard, especially with champions like Action or Cho'Gath. If they get ahead, are pretty hard to shut down.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think that I do think that MadMen are still not super happy with how this early game went. They do have some they do have some advantages in the top lane and in the ADC, so the gold lead stays even. As ATL, you cannot get hit by those Swain Ws. Those in full vision, as they now find Fred at his Gromp. Since this does have Mega Gnar, and they do get the action. No revives for the rest of this fight for the side of Gucci. As Trundle goes in while the Swain pops his ult and dissuades any further action. ATL does not get the Dark Binding to hit.
Yeah, and with this is a pretty good play for you, especially because Gucci initiated it, and you would most of the time want to those plays to go your way, but here you didn't gain anything really, outside of trading a bit of some cooldowns prior, especially in terms of the soul shackles and comeuppance. With your mid laners, you just got your jungler just died with this play.
And with that kill, MadMen are 2k ahead. Or 1k ahead, sorry. As Dr. Valentine dies once again, the kill going over to the Tahm is not amazing, but Tongue-Lash and the Devour picking up this Wukong and just 2 free kills for the side of MadMen. What are you doing, Gucci? It was going so well.
That early game was going so well, and now you're just losing tempo. Dying again. You just got back to the lane from the base, and this is going to be a total nightmare to come back from, honestly. And just looking at MadMen taking over the entire Mad Herald Falls as well.
Yeah, in the meantime, that the bot lane did get, for MadMen, did get the first tower, so next objective will be the deciding factor who gets the feats of warfare.
Our favorite rated boots that are sometimes questionable if you should buy them immediately or not. That depends on, of course, which ones you want.
I mean, overall, the defensive boots are fairly strong. Also, this game, it'll dissuade some of the damage from like an Action ult or Jinx ult out of the blue if you upgrade them for the attack damage shield, as Tunfisk does go in with the Mega, just playing around, not really diving right now. Laser Bronze does take quite a bit of damage, but overall nothing crazy happening, as we do see a skirm standoff in the bot lane for this Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, that is another pick. Your mid laner is dead currently. So he's trying to find a play to equalize this, but it's just a 4v3 situation that's just not going to work out very well most of the time.
As the Swain does get tagged and might die here, actually. Dingus is looking to steal this Drake, but MadMen should see it coming. And he does steal the Drake.
That is a steal. You can actually get the feats of warfare. Flash for the Wukong, who is cycloning away, but doesn't get the chance to run.
Wukong does die. Jinx flashes away, and the Swain also still lives. Don't get greedy now, Fred, as he does summon the Herald. Dr. Valentine does get spotted out again, but nothing major happens.
for Dr. Valentine. Always gets in and goes back to base. That's back to back to back, where he just got either chunked so much that he needed to return to the fountain or outright killed.
Usually, that is the feats for the side of Gucci Reapers. I would have liked MadMen not to flip it, as it is free power you're giving up, but not the worst. But I think they could have played that dragon fight a bit more controlled. Pull out the dragon, just deny the steal, don't be greedy. They had time.
You really had the time, and especially had the numbers on your side, because you were 4v3, so you could try and make it more safe, but we still need to take into account that you are 5,000 gold ahead. Now you are in the lead, and you can start making the plays proactively. So in top, we're seeing two top laners, let's say, having their maiden ritual, as they're just smacking each other, and it's not really going to lead.
And if we take a look at the gold graph, Gucci, they had a point at the beginning of the game where they were just eking out, but MadMen, after getting ahead a little bit and then stabilizing, they have just ballooned the gold graph. A total a 5k gold lead within 20 minutes. That's if they keep it up, we could see a 20k gold lead if we take this this rate of acceleration before the end of the game. I don't suspect it will happen, but it would be a thing.
It would be quite an interesting game at that point. 20,000 gold, that's almost an entire inventory's worth of items. That would be ridiculous. But currently, looking at the gold, who has the advantage? It's your marksman and top laner, which is, well, let's say, the roles that you don't want to be behind, especially a lot of the time. But as we now are looking at an engagement, Tomkench losing a lot of his health, and we're going right into a pause.
Yeah, as always, we'll check why the pause happened, as James LeBron's did temporarily disconnect from the game. We'll be right back as soon as he reconnects. Until then, don't go anywhere, I would say. Overall, it's a 1.3k gold lead for this Sivir. It's not reflected in items yet. It will once the IE is completed. Top lane, same story. There is a almost 2k gold lead, but it's not yet reflected fully in items. Just a phage ahead now. Jungle, we do see the difference where this Trundle is on 2 completed items instead of 1 and a bit.
Yep.
What do you think Gucci Reapers need to do this game to make sure they don't fall behind?
Yeah, that's a hard question currently, because when I'm looking at it, even as Cho'Gath, you got a Heartsteel, which predominantly is a not great item if you're behind and you cannot get the stacks. Currently, you have 69 stacks, considering it's your first item and you've had it for a bit. That's not the most amount of stacks, and it's not going to get too much better. And from like the perspective on the entire game, you just need to find a way to take the pace into your own hands again, to try and find some picks. Especially if you could find a kill, for example, on the Trundle, who has a shutdown above his head. That would be a pretty huge deal to somewhat salvage the gold deficiency you have currently. Especially if you could get it on the Jinx, that would actually solve a lot of problems for your team in terms of scaling. It's currently the biggest fear I have of this game is just Sivir going into her 3 or 4 items and just completely taking over the game from that point onwards.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows the 500 CS Sivir win condition meme. It used to be not a meme for a good chunk. Then it became a meme, as she didn't have that late game prowess. But in the current state of Sivir, if she gets to that 4 or 5 items even, she will just tear through the enemy team almost as quickly as a full build Jinx will.
Yeah. Also, it is pretty good for the side of Sivir that she just needs to hit the closest enemy and she's passively cleaving everyone else down. So it also adds to another level to the fighting against Sivir that you need to be aware of where you are standing, so you're not accidentally cleaving your teammates. It can be 100% a difference between you clearing the fight and not making it because Sivir just got a few lucky ricochets onto your marksman.
Yeah. I mean, also, if you look at the way the side of these teams are looking to play, the beefy members of Gucci are looking to stack on top of each other in front of their carries, while the Action might be flanking a bit. On the other hand, the side of MadMen, they're the only one really standing in front of the carries is this Tom Kench. Meanwhile, the Trundle and the Nar will look to push forward. So I think the Jinx, or the Sivir has a lot of value against the enemy team, while the Jinx has a bit of a harder time getting those resets and tearing through the enemy team.
Yeah, she's not going to have it easy, especially if she doesn't get those items. She's relying basically on other teammates to do the damage for her and just get the resets. And once she gets excited, then she can start tearing the teamfights apart. But without it, yeah, the Jinx is not going to be super easy to play in this.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that could be nice is the Akshan, who is building towards that collector. Once he completes it, he might get some easy resets for the Jinx. Overall, Madman in a commanding lead still. 3 towers to nil, 5k gold ahead. Don't have the feats that went over to Gucci due to the nice steal from Dingus. But overall, Madman just played out slow. And slow and steady wins the race. Just don't let this Jinx scale, though.
Yep. Currently, also, if we look at the objectives tabs, we can see that they're at soul point Gucci. They just need one dragon and they're going to get an entire soul, which would also help their predicament. As if I'm not mistaken, we're currently on Infernal Rifts. Sorry if I'm not remembering it correctly. I think we're on an Infernal one. Yeah, I see the
We
cinders.
are
Yeah.
on an Infernal Rift. You can also see it on the right side that it is
Yep.
the extra Drake spawning.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't notice that. But that is also a small win condition get could help stabilize this game, especially if you could then also aim towards stalling near the Elder Dragon, maybe baiting a catch at that point, or even stealing it. Stealing the Elder Dragon would be absolutely massive and could shift this entire game upside down. Of course, that's a bit of a theory and a stretch, because currently you are not in the lead. You are not the one who is going to dictate whether or not you are going to start the objective, so it's not going to be easy to sneak that dragon in.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we still have the Atakan ready and up for grabs. So this will most likely be the next objectives these teams will work towards. Currently, vision setup. Madman have quite a bit of vision. Gucci only have one ward in that tribush if you look at the map, as we took off vision. Madman have a lot more vision. I think Madman will just back off after this fight and just try to set up with this outcome. It's a nice buff permanently. And overall, I think Madman, yeah. What else can I say besides they're in a comfortable lead?
Comfortable lead, especially if you look at the levels on the Sivir. She's level 12 currently, 2 levels ahead of her marksman on the opposite side. And if we take into consideration Atakon, who gives, let's say, a sizable amount of XP, I wouldn't be surprised if Sivir jumped to level 13 and then all of a sudden you're 3 levels up your opponent. They can also be quite the difference, especially because each level up gives around 500 gold worth of stats. That's 1500 gold just because you have a bigger number next to your champion icon. It's quite a lot.
It indeed is. We are hopefully getting back into game soon-ish.
Sooner or later we will. Let's just hope that it's not going to be in the 21 minutes that we have remaining. That would be quite unpleasant.
Probably 2 minutes still.
Yeah, alright. I'm also quite interested in how the Morgana is going to show up throughout this match again as well. Because so far we have only seen her shoving waves and moving occasionally. She didn't have really a chance to come to the spotlight yet. But I can totally imagine a scenario where her ultimate Soul Shackles could make the difference and CC free people and outright win the fights.
I mean, she can also just use her Darkbind to
Yep.
possibly like get a random action or dark binding, yeah, or dissuade a Wukong dive into the back line. It is quite a long route, a full 3 seconds, as you can see on the screen right now.
Yes, my favorite 3-second bind on a 6-second cooldown.
Yeah.
I love it.
As you see, your Soul Circle's ult is also a 3-second channel, so if you do it correctly, you can stun them for almost a full 5 seconds with just one champion.
Yes, I'm just
On the other hand,
missing
MadMen Origins not really that much CC besides it. Some Kench can stun or devour you if he gets the stacks. And the Gnar, of course, in Mega has some CC, but overall, MadMen Origins are quite reliant on this Morgana to CC the enemies. As we get back into game.
Yeah, Goblins finds Tom Kench, but as it doesn't kill, and you find the return kill on Dingus.
Yeah. As we get the customary boss after a boss. Riot Games is a small indie company, as we say.
Well, this just happened before it, where right as Athlon spawned in the top side. That's also not the, let's say, best timer for your jungler to die.
As we look at the
Especially in such a
total
manner.
damage dealt, and we do see ATL on this Morgana, of course, having the burns quite up there. But overall, mostly MadMen in the top damage charts.
I'm also quite surprised by the Gnar, actually. I didn't imagine he did that much, but now when I think about it in retrospective, it does kind of make sense that he did so much
He does
damage
have max
with
HP
those
damage
Gnars.
against a tank, so does make sense. Mostly lane stats. As what are Gucci doing? Really early setup for Envision clearing for the Drake. Garcino completing the eye edge. This saver will be very strong for this Drake fight. As we will take a quick look, and this Jinx will not have enough gold to complete her eye edge in time. Now sitting on 1300 gold in her inventory. After she bought it, she has 500, so almost enough for crit cloak, but definitely not enough yet for an eye edge by the time this Infernal Drake spawns.
Yeah, but also Jinx is in a not ideal spot by just the fact that most of the people from MadMen have armor already, and
as we see a flash from Dr. Valentine, and he will fall before this Drake spawns. That's not something you want to have happen. That's we'll fix the minimum skill.
Yeah, this is just crumbling down slowly as Gucci tried to at least find a pick on the top side. Will they find it? I don't think you have enough reliable CC to really catch the slippery Gnar.
This is 4 people top for a tower. Sunfish, can he
Okay.
defend? He ults the wave, but might... He jumps away and concedes the tower. But on the other hand of the map, MadMen also get a tower with only 2 players there. ATL gets some nice tower damage on the mid lane tower. And I think MadMen are also doing the dragon at the same time. And we see a inhib tower taken. Now they do need to still get out. The Silver ult in combining with the Silver ult with the Devour. ATL with the Soul Shackles does pick up this action. TP in from Tunfish as well.
Are we also
Goes
looking at
in,
maybe
ulting
the end of
in.
the game? The Gnar finds
Garzi doing
Gnar
some
good.
nice damage. Jinx, the Wukong though does, with the Cyclone, does find him. And Jameson runs with the Feast. MadMen, what are you doing? You're wasting everything for a inhib you're not even getting.
Yeah, this didn't look so bright, but now when
They do
finally
get
come up,
the Cho'Gath, and they'll get this inhib, but I think they'll back up after this. Overall, MadMen not unhappy. Could it have been a lot cleaner? Definitely.
yeah, this kind of puts you in an awkward situation that you handed out a lot of shutdowns, gave a lot of gold back. As we see now, at least it didn't go to Jinx in that, in a big amount at least, maybe in assists, but that's pretty much it. So Jinx is not going to be accelerated to gain those items, the Lord Dominic's and the Hurricane, presumably, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, Garcia on the Sivir only needing the completion golds for Lord Dominic's. On the other hand, the Jinx just picked up her IH, don't even have completed boots, so still quite a bit behind. Overall, we see item disparity in everywhere besides mid lane and top lane, I would say. As we see a nice top catch W onto Swain. Swain ult does fall down. Dangerous Blondes not getting anything done. The Tom catch does fall to Dr. Valentine on this action. No revive given though.
Yeah, the Dumbkinch didn't deal the final blow, so there's no real value from the W passive on action. As we see MadMen starting this Baron Nashor that spawned in the top lane at the 25th minute mark. And with this, they're... I don't want to say or jinx that they've won the game, but yeah, this is not the easiest spot to come back from. It's going to be pretty hard, and it's most probably not gonna come from one play. It will be Gucci will need to find multiple multi-plays in succession to come back into the series.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the Baron not really being used by MadMen so far. They'll just be trying to push out waves in parity. So, for example, a top wave and a mid wave to get maximum effect. As we do see the Tom Kench now clearing some vision on his own, to spot the ward, and will not fall or die. But does need to be a bit careful walking up alone. As we see the Gnar just bonking this tower. Does not take a tower aggro, but I think he'll back off for the rest of Gucci before they arrive. Now we see in tandem with the top lane, we'll see the mid lane being pushed.
And this is slowly going to
Flesh
go out of
cleansed by the
hand.
Jinx. That does mean
Damage
that
is nasty.
MadMen don't get the tower yet, but both summoners from the Jinx does mean that she cannot step up in any of these fights for the coming few minutes.
Yeah, as we see the tier 2 on the top fall down, crumbling to pieces as Gnar goes away victorious, finally taking it. Now we're just waiting for MadMen to really decide what they want to take next. Is it going to be taking the priority for the Drake, as I assume currently they're standing near it?
I would assume so. Just denying the soul from the side of Gucci Reapers. I mean, they also did get the Otacon, of course. And MadMen will just pick up their second Infernal Drake of this game. That's a decent amount of extra added damage. We can not check how much it is exactly currently, but
I think Infernal Drake is 4% additional AD and AP, so...
this the Sivir will be happy with it, with the extra AD.
Yeah. It's going to be, I'm gonna say 4% more damage. It's not going to be exactly that, as scaling, so all that, but it's a pretty decent buff for them, especially. They have the damage. Dark Binding finds a target, though, as Dark Demonic Ascension comes out, but it doesn't matter anyway. Jinx also found. Gnar finds 2 targets, and this is a complete cleanup for MadMen.
Yeah, on the side queue we saw we saw Sander on the Tomkins kidnap the Wukong, or kidnap the Cho'Gath, making sure that he does not enter the fight to take first ADC, as MadMen take game 1 in a back. Welcome. Quick update. Gucci Reapers are using an emergency sub for their top lane. This is due to their original top laner, James LeBron's having some IRL issues. But don't let that dissuade this series. We'll soon head back into draft for game 2 of MadMen versus Gucci Donnies. I'll put that's the wrong logo.
I'm interested in what champions we'll see in the second game, as we saw quite, let's say, the more blind pickable champions, in my opinion, that are predominantly favored by lower divisions already picked, especially Sivir, Jinx as well. So in the marksman role, I'm thinking of what they're going to take, if there's something that they have high priority on, or if they're going to aim maybe for a different role that they have in mind.
I think in general, the carry, the hyper carry, AD carries are probably the highest priority. Besides that, it's, I think, only some carry top laners, some carry junglers. I mean, we saw Fred and Tunfis really ramping up during the game. Garci was on that hyper carry, just scaling as you would like to see.
Yeah. And I mean, the Sivir did make quite a difference, and especially Ruckus in this fights. Though we might need to add that the Gnohar and Trundle were, let's say, no small pieces in those games. As we see the official start of our second game. Bans towards Aurelion Soul Echo and Viego. Yeah.
Gucci Reapers, of course, losing their first 3 bans due to the use of an emergency substitute in the top lane. Gloomy now filling in.
And with this, what is going to be your first pick?
I think you either pick a hyper carry ADC or just a good jungler. The Diana, a good strong carry jungler, can flex into mid if needed. If the matchup really allows it. But I suspect this is just a nice early carry jungler. Also leaves open some room for an AD mid.
Yep. I mean, especially since the last patch, she got quite a sizable amount of damage buffs towards the jungle role for clearing camps. She got a boost to her passive damage, which can make quite the difference, as Diana is notoriously one of the faster clearing junglers, especially with this tuning of the passive.
Yeah.
As a answer, Silas.
Silas, triple flex, could go jungle, could go mid or top. I've seen it support, but I don't think that will be the case here. We'll have to see the rest of the picks to decide where this Silas is going.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if he went jungle, because usually you take Silas as an answer when you see there are good ultimates. If you pick it this early, you're either really sure that you can play take the absolute maximum out of this champion, or you're already taking it into the matchup knowing that it's favored for you. Which in this matchup, I can imagine that Silas can get ahead, especially if he takes a couple kills in the early game. He can totally snowball this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Jhin and the Ashe traits fairly standard. Jhin more burst damage with the 4th shot. Ashe really consistent. Pairs up nicely with the Diana as well. The Ashe arrow into a Diana combo cleans up anyone in this fight fairly easily.
What is going to be the third pick for MadMen, as they are currently looking for...
I suspect we'll have a and maybe even something like an enchanter, as we see the Anivia being hovered. Anivia picked, so I
Yeah.
think that's just an answer to a potential Silas mid and not giving away too great of an ultimate. We'll have to see
Maybe.
what gets picked in response. Bard now being hovered by the side of Gucci, and it is the Bard. Gucci saying, "We'll take whatever support you want. We're taking. We already know the mid matchup. We're picking mid next, and we're saving our top laner for the R5 counter pick.
Yeah,
Mundo
this
now
is
being
why-
banned from the side of Gucci. So that's some top laners being banned. We'll have to see what MadMen respond with.
Quite an interesting matchup. I honestly expect with the Ashe maybe a support such as Melio, who is a quite a menace for this duel. They can bully almost any champion out of lane, especially with boosting. Especially if you give the range boost to Ashe, as she suddenly becomes the highest range level 1 marksman in the game. We have the W from Melio.
Yeah.
If you don't play safely around that, you can pretty quickly lose a big chunk of health.
Yep.
If not your life entirely, if you walk up too much.
So we see the Syndra being banned for that Anivia matchup. The Malphite being banned, that could signify an AD top lane pick. Something like a Yone maybe, perhaps. And then we see the Mundo and the Zac picks. Now these are both top lane bans, because I know that Tunfizz does play the Zac top lane and is quite good on it.
Honestly, I can imagine if you're banning 2 top laners, you could even take the R4 top lane. I don't think.
As we see the Kayn, so this would indicate that Silas mid lane or top lane.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have the Baus FFS Grey Kayn tech, but I wouldn't suspect to see it in the Valanth League Division 3 games.
Would be quite a game though, wouldn't it?
It would.
Though we still have quite a few free
As we
slots,
do see the
and-
Milio coming in, as just predicted earlier.
yeah,
Quite
Milio
good
Ashe.
against the Kayn and the Silas as well, with that knockback. Just making sure their engage doesn't reach your Ashe. I mean, Kayn and Silas not champions, even Bart. They're not really champions that care about Anivia Wall, I would say. They all have ways of getting over it. But besides that, Anivia quite a decent control mage. As we see the Jax locked in. 80 top, quite a neutral pick, I would say. Doesn't get countered, like hard countered by many picks. And
Yeah.
can pop off. I do think that Mad have a slight issue with where they don't have too much hard engage. And
Yeah, it is
they're
lacking,
a
but-
medium ranged comp. Gucci on the other hand do also lack some hard engage, but have a bit more range to play with and have some strong flankers.
Yeah, I think this game will be relying on Crystal Arrow from Ashe quite a bit, as if those land, you kind of solve that problem for MadMen. But if you can dodge it from the other side, then how do you engage this? I mean, Diana is going to have to do some pretty mad stuff if they want to really hard engage. And that can be quite risky, because if you don't have Zonius at that time, you could get bursted down, and then what? You just don't have a person to play off of.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the logo still isn't fixed in draft, I do apologize to Valanth League. As we have a blind pick lobby, as you can maybe see the pick orders not being fully in sync. But I'm just using this to pressure VO into going back to tournament drafts lobbies, as I quite like this tool and instead of the external draft. But maybe I'm just stubborn. We'll see. Nobody has yelled at me for it so far, so I'll take it.
Oh, yelling. Everyone loves yelling. Until they don't.
Apparently they
Yeah.
do.
Well, this game is going to be quite interesting though, as I'm thinking how the early fights are going to go. And I'm also pretty... Okay, actually the upside. That answers at least one of my questions. Okay, in this regard. But both teams are, in a way, not really having a definitive front line, like a tank full on. So this is going to be quite a bit heavily based on individual plays, in my opinion, because you don't have, like, for example, a Malphite with Unstoppable Force who just presses one button and just goes in. This is just going to be more around playing for vision, trying to find people all, out of position, and strategically cutting it off from their team and picking it off, ideally, because then 5v4 it's going to be hard for either of those teams to come back in those skirmishes later on.
Yeah, I think Gucci will be mostly looking around picking people off. On the other hand, MadMen, a bit more teamfight controlled, oriented, can still definitely pick some off with the Diana and the Jax, but overall, a bit more control with the Milio, the Nivea, DPS with the Ashe, a more slow and controlled fight.
Yep.
Gucci
In
with the Akali and the Kayn and the Silas, basically 3 assassins. I suspect that the Bard will go tank, otherwise you're licking some of that as well. Kayn might still go red Kayn as well. So some options there.
Yeah, some slight options, but it's not going to be super easy. You need to be creative if you're running a comp so heavily reliant on assassins. Is you really need to be there first at the objective, to not face checking the enemy, because that's a huge definitive factor for assassins, that they need to burst you down before you can even react, and if you don't have that time, yeah, finding the siege on a later on Baron, for example, if you don't have any control over the Rift as Nikali, is going to be pretty brutal,
Yeah.
especially against the Nivea as well. On the other hand, MadMen have insanely well-scaling champions into the mid and late game. If they can pop off early and keep the lead on, they can just outrun their opponents altogether. If
I
they
think
don't
even
give
if
up
they
any
stay
shutdowns.
even in the early game, they'll basically beat out enemy team if they keep the game controlled. I think early game chaos is definitely what Gucci want and MadMen don't.
Yep, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up some of the first few objectives to spawn. 'Cause you really
Yeah.
just want to get onto the first item power spikes for the Jax, Ashe, even Nivea or Diana. All of those champions are heavily reliant on their item power spikes and can definitely shake up the fights in their favor when they can play together and not be split. On the
Yeah,
other side, as
definitely.
you mentioned, and we're all talking again and again, is that they're just, for the most part, burst assassins. Silas just wants to go in, basically, and punch the people to death. Akali and Kayn both usually want to just find someone, take them, and go away. Unless they can get a reset, and Jin, in this matter, is just there to secure the kill with the force shot, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's up to
We-
the board to set up those situations.
We are now loading into game.
Ooh,
As
nice.
we will
Azumi.
once again quickly fix our draft order. Um, just for
Yes.
good measure.
Looking at the Summoner Serve, though, it's looking to be a more of a passive game once again. Mostly just warding your side of the jungle, not leaving any openings for the opponent to expose. Also some emoting in the mid lane going on.
As the order should now be fixed. It is indeed.
It indeed is correct.
Once again, our rune step doesn't work currently, sadly, unfortunately. But besides that,
When I look at those runes, I think we are seeing a red cane, firstly. I don't think it would ever run in blue cane with Conqueror. It's
yeah,
just not something I would see too often. And also we're seeing more of the bruiser type as Silas build that runs. I think he's going to run more of the Riftmaker esque.
yeah, I
Trying to
suspect him
brawl.
to do that, indeed. Overall, in terms of lanes, I suspect the side of Gucci might have some early pressure, especially in the mid lane, as we do see some trading coming out. It's top lane. The Jax is actually waiting out for now with Counter-Strike. But Akali can still do some stuff in this lane.
Definitely, especially at the level 2, level 3, when she gets the Shuriken Toss and Twilight Shroud, she can definitely outrate her opponent, but on the first level, especially if you get the level 2 power spike earlier, it can hurt. And on the bot lane, we also see the Ashe running forward with the melee W, and this is going to sting a bit. By bit, I mean massively.
This Ashe just making sure that this Jhin knows who's boss in this early game.
Well, this isn't going to be a fun bot lane, I think, from what I'm seeing at least.
No, from what we can see, MadMen, they know how they want to play this early game. Top and bot are just pressuring. Anivia is just soaking up the Silas, just chilling. ATL is just saying, top bot, you go ham. I'll stay back a bit. Make sure the jungler has time for you.
Currently, the mid lane is just going to wait for level 6. Until then, Anivia is not exactly a fully fledged champion, I would say. She is heavily reliant on the Blizzard to do a blunt of the damage and her wave clear as well. Diana moving towards the Scuttle Crab, trying to take it, and with that also go for the second one, because the top side is left open. Losing quite a bit of HP on this.
Yep, MadMen overall winning out that short skirmish. Nothing else much happening on the map. As we do need to fix the team order for the portraits as well. And it's fixed.
Okay. So Dingus equals the Skettles 1-to-1, each of the junglers. This, we can expect them to shortly recall, because all of their camps are cleared, and unless they really want to go for a specific time before a gank, this is the opportunistic time to get your item power spikes. Diana, Fred already gone for Faded Ashes.
That's a quick recall. Faded Ashes gives quite a bit of damage onto monsters. So Diana is just going in for the tempo play. Just farming up to the 6. As we do see some trading in the top lane. Gloomy actually drops Ignites.
Is it going to be enough?
And
No.
survives with 100 HP. Needs to be careful here though. Diana is covering, gets spotted on a ward. And Akali will just opt for a quick recall. as I do say that, but she is staying in here, just forcing this Jax to back off. Tunfish, you have TP, just take the recall. It's not worth dying. As if we take a quick look, the Akali is still a bit away from level 6, but quite risky for Tunfish to stay here and not take the recall earlier.
Yeah, this is going. There is a chance that this is going to backfire, as you're quite low. Perfect execution will be enough to kill you in the mid lane. In the meantime, we see Fred going in, Wall cutting off the exit for Dr. Valentine, and Flash is forced out as we see perfect execution in the top lane. This is what we were talking about. Grandmaster at Arms used to defensively to survive this ultimate, and it seems that it was enough, and Akali is forced to respect this and move off.
Crucially, the Akali missed her R2, which is from perfect execution, which is quite a lot of the damage. It executes, of course, so with Tunfish being low, it would have been the full 200 damage, which would have been enough with the Q to kill.
Ooh.
As we see, quick counter-strike coming in, trading.
No.
As Gloomy, were you never taught to not fight in the enemy minion wave? Quite a lot of damage, as the Dingus does not manage to land the W. Maybe would have killed with Flash Q then? Instead wastes the Flash for nothing.
Yeah, this is starting to get slightly out of hand as Jax gets his solo first blood kill. We're also seeing the Drake going down slowly because you saw the jungler in the top side and you know that there is no real way to contest this objective. You're maybe going to lose a couple of camps in your jungle. This game is looking forward to your blue buff, but yeah.
Dingus does take the blue buff here. Maybe a grump afterwards. Counter-Strike is so powerful in this melee to melee matchup, and a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially if you can time it properly and also follow up after the Twilight Shower ends. Akali is just finding opportune moments to really use her champion's advantage and
overall
find the chip damage.
Gold's lead staying fairly even, which, as we said, is what MadMen likes to see. They like a slow controlled game. Perfect execution did hit, and Gloomy does pick up the return kill.
This kind of evens the lane again. Akali gets the kills back so she can buy additional components. Also run to get closer towards that. I think Proto Belt is going to be an item of choice, probably.
Most likely it is a Proto Belt, yeah. As we do see the fight for the grubs, Akali TP'd in. Diana now in a bit of trouble. Ult being used. Dingus does pick up the kill. Return kill for Tunfish. And the Anivia actually being super strong. Feats of warfare picked up.
Yeah, this hurts so much, as you had no way to run away with the Silas. You had no mana to dash over the wall. No summoner either. And this is a triple kill going towards this Jax, as all the action on the map is happening in the top lane.
Yeah, and as you can see, the Anivia now has her ult, has the wall, and just controls the space fairly well. This Jax is becoming a problem, and your bot lane is also not winning for Gucci.
Yeah, it's quite hard winning against this bot lane, especially when you need to respect the crystal arrow. Whenever you move up, you need to be really careful that there is no follow-up, because if it lands, even if you react pretty quickly towards the cleanse, it can mean that you are going to be engaged and probably even killed, if not use your summoners as an answer. Bottom side of the map is quite filled with people, as we see the action somewhat shifting down. I'm looking forward to maybe seeing the bot lane in the action, as they have been more or less just passively harassing each other.
As we take a look at the gold graph, MadMen, it looks
Ooh.
fairly similar to last game, only this time MadMen are in the lead a bit earlier. Gold lead, not only 1.5k, or but still the gold lead looking eerily similar to last game.
Yes,
As
Akali
that's a full-blown solo kill top lane. As mid
and
lane.
mid lane as well.
I mean, I get that Gloomy on the Akali as an E-sub wasn't prepared for this game, but this Silas should definitely be in the zone. Quite risky
Yeah,
having so many carries and not something super stable instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid when you first pick Silas as well. Because you revealed it super early, and now the Olivia is quite a hard matchup for Silas to deal with.
I'll be honest, I would have liked to see either a stable top laner or maybe something of a more tanky jungler. Maybe it's even like a Sejuani.
Yeah.
Just something that can stabilize this game, because currently no one on the side of Gucci Reapers can really slow down this game. Because as we said earlier, in general, Gucci Reapers, they have 3 early skirmishers. They won some kills in the game, but MadMen, they're saying, okay, some chaos is allowed, but it's our chaos. And that's not working out for Gucci Reapers. The dive now potentially being set up. It does get spotted out by the wards in the Tribush. MadMen
All people known
do
here.
engage.
Fred jumps in, Umbral Trespass is used, Crystal Arrow finds its target as the wall doesn't segment the marksman off of the fight. Diana uses Moonfall as it doesn't find anyone. Bard ult stalls the support, but it doesn't do really anything as Jax teleports into the fight, tries to find in the engage, also disengages. Dr. Valentine goes for the backline, but this is just not going to work out. 1v3, this is not ideal. Vice also finds another kill as the Jax. He's just so fat at this point. Who's gonna stop this Jax?
Well, we just saw the answer. No one. No one is.
Yeah, it's just so difficult because all of your champions on Gucci are reliant on auto attacks. Like, quite literally all of them. Silas needs to land them. Kane somewhat also does. Akali also doesn't do the biggest amount of damage without them. It's like you have every single champion who isn't ideal at taking down this champ.
Yeah, and I
It's
mean,
not going to be easy.
if we take a quick look at who the gold lead is on, you can just see Dunfees is 2k ahead of even his own teammates. This Ash with 4.7k, second most gold in the game. Dunfees is like, hold my energy drink or beer. And just 2k up over his own teammate. That's so much good.
He's over his teammates by the amount of enemy support's entire inventory, almost. Bard has 3,000 gold.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not good. At 14 minutes as well, that's super early. Not most of the objectives haven't spawned yet.
And just look at this total gold graph, man. It's this is fairly one-sided. Man, just showing they're so far the better team.
5,000 gold lead at this minute is quite disastrous.
Oh,
We'll see if they find a play in the bot lane. Doesn't
ATO
lend.
with defensive feats.
Yeah. I don't think you're getting anything out of this Nivea anytime soon. In the meantime, MadMen are not stagnating. They're going for the mid lane, taking the tier 1 turret, and also starting the Herald in the top side.
Yeah, I think in general, MadMen total control over this game. They just know where the enemy team is. They have a clear path to victory. I really don't like the Run of Ages by the Silas. It's 15 minutes into the game. You're 4 minutes behind your counterpart.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it does maybe stabilize the game once you get some stacks on it. But I would have liked to see some more damage being bought.
At the same time, he built the catalyst super early onto the game, where it wasn't this like one-sided yet, and there's no other item you can build from the catalyst. So it's like, yeah, you can either opt into not building the item and lose gold, or you can try to make it work, which is not ideal as well. It's like a lose-lose situation in this case.
As the Kane does find the Milio, but also ends up finding
Perfect
the rest of
execution
his team.
He's going for the Milio. Breath of Life is used to defensively try and protect your teammates, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Jix is in incredibly critical health. He flashes away. A lot of teleports are going towards the top side. ATL is maybe slightly out of position, and by slightly I mean he's in a 1v4. Is he going to slip away? I don't think there's any real good way for you to do so, as we see a beautiful egg being cracked, and that's an omelet.
That's a shutdown for the Silas. This game isn't over yet, clearly. Just MadMen stepping up to a jungle where they didn't have full control. The enemy team, Gucci Reapers, were just there so quickly as 4 or 5 people. And just numbers advantage does overcome a gold deficit, as we just saw.
Yep. It really does, especially in these situations where it is total chaos. Everything else goes out the window.
Yeah. And as we said, Gucci Reapers, they want the full chaos, as we saw. Give them full chaos, and the Akali picks off the Milio, picks off the Ashe, and a late teleport from Nivea makes sure that someone else dies as well.
Yep, definitely help them get back into the game.
Yeah. Akali has 2 kills, Kane has a kill, Silas has a kill. They all are starting to get the ball rolling. Meanwhile, MadMen still in control, still in the lead. Pick up a tower, but not always doom and gloom.
Yeah, but he still didn't get
Especially
the biggest
since
shutdown from MadMen. Jax still didn't die in that fight. He managed to slip away, so...
Yeah, on the other hand, that's 500 gold sitting there for Gucci Reapers just to pick up.
Yeah.
They are looking to dive him for that gold lead. Tower now disabled, good counter-strike, good ult.
Is it going to be enough though? You're jumping in, perfect execution is trying to find its target, and you do manage to take the shutdown down.
I'm not certain I like the shutdown going to Kane the most. I think Akali or Silas makes better use of it, but the Gucci Reapers aren't going to complain. Herald now being used to get 2 towers and possibly an inhibitor. But MadMen, remember last game, don't get too cocky in the enemy base. As the top lane tower does go down, and remember, it's objective bounties for Gucci Reapers, so that's basically an extra 100 gold to each member of their team. Just from one bounty alone.
A good amount of gold to get into your pockets, especially if you're behind against a team such as MadMen, who are, as we said prior, in my opinion, the better scaling team towards the mid and especially late game. I mean,
yeah, you see the gold graph dipping, now stabilizing. That's just from 2 good fights, 2 shutdowns, a tower bounty. Remember, objective bounties are quite significant these days, especially if you manage to get 2 in a row. Not yet happened, but Gucci will be trying to get it. As if I do see correctly, it has fallen off, so no more objective bounties. As the Ashe gets
Ooh,
knocked up,
execution is used. Crystal arrow in answer. It doesn't help you save your marksman as you're in a 4v5 as Atacon has spawned in the bottom side of the map. Maybe a bit too cocky walking in the river without any real option of support from your team. You're
that's
just too
nothing.
powerful.
That's 1 flash invested for both Milio ult, Ashe her life, and the Ashe flash. So overall, Gucci, you're feeling good. You're feeling a lot better about setting up for this Atacon fight.
Yeah. The question is, are you going to go set up for the fight? Because currently you're not really moving super deep to contest the objective. You're just playing it slowly, which in this case is the safer bet. But at the same time, if you're in this gold deficit and you are on a ticking timer of getting outskilled, I don't think you have the luxury of waiting.
I mean,
for everything
Ashe
to perfectly
rejoins the
align.
fight. You just lost your
Ooh.
numbers advantage, and your Silas is top lane. Silas doesn't even
Moonfall.
get the top tower, so TP's in now. But I think
They are ch-
Gucci Reapers are a bit too late on the trigger. They should have just gone in with either their numbers advantage or just play way safer and let your Silas split
The
push.
Akali is too low. As Silas tries to connect, he has Moonfall ultimate from Diana. He has it still up as we see Kane going towards the Ashe. She is being crowd control. Perfect execution is being used. A lot of low health bars, but none of the cooldowns that could have finished off the MadMen have been used. Atacon may be finishing these players as we see the collateral damage. A double kill, but it doesn't change the fact that, well, this is favored towards MadMen, who are starting to do the Atacon objective.
Yeah, and I think Gucci Reapers, they're not too unhappy with this. They picked up some kills, but overall, MadMen, they're still in the lead.
Curtain call though. Oh, that's super close. Tremester in arms is being used. Atacon has turned golden, and you don't have the help against a Jhin. He's just going to go there and execute you if you aren't careful enough.
And
Atacon at 1600 health.
the Atacon resets, so
Reset!
MadMen are safe from the Atacon going over. Just it resetting just in time, and you see the Milio coming in, some vision being put down. MadMen, they got out by the skin of their teeth. They're so
Yeah,
lucky that this Atacon didn't go over. That would have been a quite big swing overall.
Yeah, it would have been a massive swing, as it would have been quite free for Gucci, who didn't even really do brunt of the damage. They would have just picked it up. Jungler wasn't available for them, but this engage, perfect execution is being used. Your support is totally destroyed as the Akali finds the mark. It is being traded back though. Kane uses Umbral Trespass to work his way throughout your backline. Jax goes into the 1v1 with Dr. Valentine, but it seems that yeah, the Jax is still that you are not winning that, my friend, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
I'm being leashed.
and I think it was definitely a good try from the side of Gucci Reapers. That fight, one kill goes the other way. You actually win that fight. But now two objectives going over to the side of MadMen.
Yep. This is going to be a massively devastating blow towards Gucci, who are now down Atacon, but more importantly, this is Ocean Soul for MadMen.
It's
massively powerful.
5k gold
so-
lead for the side of MadMen. in 25 minutes, and you saw the gold lead dip a bit, but it's just steadily climbing up again after some of these fights going wrong for the side of Gucci.
Yeah, not the brightest prospects for Gucci, but it's not end yet.
We saw a
As
few
we-
fights. It's not completely won and over, but MadMen are in a commanding position.
Yeah, it's all it takes is just a bit of creativity, and with those assassins, especially with the Kane, you can imagine that you can make it work.
The damage is there on the side of Gucci. Now, they just need to find the right angle and the right fight. With the Jax probably not being there, but
Yeah, the Jax is an entire problem of its own. That is probably the biggest hurdle for Gucci in this entire game.
and as you can see on the
How to deal
scoreboard,
with this Jax.
his Thunder Sky 1.3k healing at this point. That's quite a lot of free healing from one item.
Yeah, especially when it wasn't the first item purchased, it was the second one, and yeah,
the
first
si-
item is going to be Zhonya's.
The Silas was allowed to skill up into a fully stacked
Curtain
Roll of
Call
Ages.
used as it teleport. Baron falls, but Trent smited it as we're going into a full-on 5v5. Zhonya's is used. Jax is probably going to die though. It's a 5v4. You are finding quite a nice amount of damage into the enemy team as they're quite slowly falling apart. You need to retreat. They don't have the Baron as well. This is overall a decently good play for MadMen, even though that they lost their strongest member. There's another kill though. Akali jumps in. She used the perfect
Gucci, what are you doing? You're losing
No, this
members left and right.
This is
They
completely
could've-
falling apart.
They could have walked out with 4 members.
Yeah, I think this is completely over. As the last member you have standing just dies, and this is Ace. Inhibitor down with Baron Nashor as you're knocking onto the enemy's Nexus. And here goes the Nexus. Tier first turret and second turret. And we say hello to our favorite objective of all, Nexus, as we see 50 gold go towards Garzy's last item purchase.
Whew. That is a game and a half, I must say. I didn't expect MadMen to win in such a commanding lead.
Yeah.
On the
Doing
other
quite right.
hand,
Yeah, the top lane though in this matchup has been in both games so vital for the success throughout the series. As in the first game with the Gnar, you just found so much.
Yep.
And in the second game, the Jax just pretty much solo carried the entire early game for the side of MadMen Origins.
as we will get a interview real quick, I think.
Well, well, well.
As we will have a interview from both sides, I believe. As we will get Fred in first.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
Good, good, good.
Great.
How are you
How
doing?
are you?
Oh, feeling great after that win, honestly.
That's good to know.
I would say it was like very clean from our team, except maybe like a couple of hiccups, but we didn't let it set us back too much.
Yeah. Did the games go according to plan beforehand, or was it on the fly, just performance?
I mean, I would say there are certainly champions that we picked today that weren't picked before in the scrims, for example. But they were just really good where they were put. I would say it worked out really well for us, like how we planned it in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
We were very well coordinated in the place we wanted. We didn't overextend, and yeah, we just like the whole team. I'm really happy with the performance, honestly.
Yeah. I think the second game you guys picked a more slow and steady comp, but your jacks popped off.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
think that's a fluke, or that you
Oh
designed
no,
the
it's not a
draft?
fluke. I
Yeah.
mean, Tun, our top laner Tunfis is like he's really good. He's I would say best in Div 3 if I may say so myself. He's been known to pop off in our scrims and in other endeavors as well. So like I would say he was expected to pop off when he said he wanted Jax. We gave him the Jax and it worked out.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know? Anything you want to take for the next series that you want to keep the same, or that you want to change up from this one?
Oh, obviously, like there's gonna be changes that still need to happen. Like obviously, we still want to improve further.
Mhm.
Certainly, the fight on Atakan was not the cleanest thing, and the meat fat fingering R in Uber there was not great.
Yeah.
If it was shown on the stream, but
It was.
yeah, obviously we'll watch VOD review as a team, and we'll go over like things that we want to improve. We always like want to make changes for the better, clearly.
Yeah. I must say, the first game, not gonna lie, your smite game was not on point.
No, yeah, that was embarrassing.
Is there like a certain smite training you can do to improve there, or is it just getting into the zone and just not messing up?
I think it's just getting into the zone. There was a call that Wukong is behind pit, and we know who was behind pit, and I still like I don't know. There were two calls happening at the same time. Maybe just could have been coordinated better on my behalf. Just needed to stop damaging Drake realistically there because like at this point it's just 50-50 if me and Wukong are in the pit.
Yeah.
So like why take a chance when we can just go on the Wukong and then secure the Drake after. So it was just a bad play on my part perhaps.
I see. Just some communication issues. I mean, it's only week 2. It's going to get a lot better, I assume.
Yeah.
Finally, with the full lineup as well.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, like
Right.
we're really happy with. I'm really happy with the team. Like it feels great to play here, and yeah, we're enjoying our time playing in VL as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good split for us, honestly.
All right. I do thank you for your time. We have Karak
Yeah,
from the
thank you
other
for
team
having me.
lined up. Good luck
Mhm.
in your next games next week.
Thank you.
See you later.
See ya.
Congrats and good luck.
Hello.
Hello.
Karak, or should I call you something else?
Whatever you want. Carrick is fine, Dingus is fine. Whatever you find
Car-
most enjoyable.
Karak, it is. Unfortunate that you lost. And you also lost a top laner along the way.
Yeah.
Just some unfortunate IRL stuff from what I've heard.
Yeah.
You guys did get a e-sub and picked a carry, which in the early game it was a bit of a coin flip, but definitely not the worst showing I've seen. Anything you want to start off with after the games?
I really want to thank MadMen for the game. Like they definitely. It was very fun playing against them. And I'm very happy that Fred didn't pick one of those boring junglers. I swear, if I see one more Jarvan, I might crash out.
I see.
Otherwise, I think we had like our strengths, but after the pause, it went a little downhill. For example, I forgot completely that I was in ult animation. But otherwise, I think it was a good game and very well played from them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys also definitely had your moments. I mean, you especially with the smite steals, both a Baron and a Dragon. Like, can it get any better than that as a jungler besides winning?
Not really, no. But winning would be nice. The smite, the first smite wasn't really a smite steal or fight. It was more of a 80-20 percentage fight because
Yeah.
he was still on the 900 smite while I was on the 1200 already. In that situation, and in a Nash one, did I get? I don't think I got it right.
I think
I don't
you
think
did.
I get it.
He didn't get it.
The
but it
second
was
game
close.
you didn't know, but the first game.
Oh,
Maybe-
true. True. I forgot.
Anyway,
Mhm.
anything you guys are looking to change for next series that you think that's going to just improve us?
We need to improve slowing the game down after our lead.
Yeah.
That's what we are gonna look for, because we had a very strong early with 3 Drakes already in the first game, but we got catched very often in some bad situations, which made us lose quite some objectives or choke points. So we need definitely to work on that.
All right, that's a nice clear point to work on. Thank you very much for the interview as well. Even after losing, we're very grateful that you guys are willing to come up here. Anything you want to shout out before we let you go?
Shout out to Pat for also streaming it
Of course.
from our side. Shout out to you guys. You guys also streamed it and probably commentated it. Very, very nice.
We did.
Big shout out to every coach, as for MadMen and for Gucci. And very big shout out to Gloomy for subbing in.
Right. Yeah. As always, the VODs will be up on the Twitch for a couple weeks, and then also posted on the YouTube. If your team wants to have the VOD as a download, so you can get some clips or something, feel free to reach out.
Alright,
And
we'll do so.
I will thank you for your time. Right. Good
Thank you
luck
too.
next week.
Thank
so much.
you.
All right.
And good luck.
See
Bye.
ya.
All right. That's just us going to round off, I think. I thank you very much, Atriel, for casting for us. I hope to have you on here more than today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to next times, and thank you for having me today as a caster.
Yeah. Thank you very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Actually, the MadMen Phantoms game from last week was rescheduled for tomorrow, so we will be here once again. Look forward to it. No games on Thursday though. Instead, you get to hear more of from the MadMens